Before we get into the video, if you're looking for top quality sample packs, preset packs and templates for your music production, they're entirely royalty free. You can use them in your own productions and learn from them. If you're interested, check out the link in the description and enjoy the video. What's good, people? It's bbrights and I am back from a brand new video. Today's video we're going to be working on part 5 of my W&W from start to finish series. In this episode we're going to be working on the break and starting the break melody and getting that working. So yeah, we're going to make a break melody, getting some sounds going. We might start on some super swords as well, depending on how long the video is. But other than that, that is the video for today, break melody. So I hope you enjoy it and let's get right into it. So before we actually get on to making a break melody, I just wanted to play what we have so far since it's been a while. I want to refresh everyone's memories. Last episode we worked on some effects, finished the chord fill and done some extra small things. So I'm just going to play what we have so far and then we can move on to making a break melody. So yeah, this is what we've got so far. So that is what we have so far. It's sounding pretty good. We're going to be working on a break melody now, get that out of the way. I might be making multiple melodies like we did with the drop melody in part 1, just so we have multiple to choose from. Depending how the first melody turns out, if it turns out really good, we'll go ahead and keep it. I'm going to be basing the first sound off W&W's song Wizards of the Beat, something along those lines. It was one of their most recent songs. It has like a muted guitar pluck, layering that with like a more traditional synth pluck, and then we get the super saws going. The main super saw element, I'm going to be basing it off their song Rave Culture, nice festival super saws. We could add some top leads, but we'll go from there. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's get the actual melody down in itself. So if you go to guitars, and I think it's called like muted guitars. This could work. Let's turn off the delay. And then low cut the reverb. And yeah, let's get started on the melody. So bearing in mind we're working in G minor, so we're going to be using the G minor scale. Let's get a melody going. So for melodies, I usually start with a bass line because then I can actually use music theory and start working on a melody. But it doesn't always start that way. Sometimes I start with a top melody because I have an actual melody in my head and then I figure out the bass. But as I don't have a melody in my head at the moment, I'm going to start with a bass line because then I can get a bassist down. So for the bass, as we're in G minor, I'm going to do a basic W&W pattern. So you can either just do like a G, D sharp, F, so it sounds like this. Or you can just do any variation of that. For what I'm going to do, I'm going to be doing goes to a G, and then to F, and then to D sharp. Repeats. And then the second half, usually the second half is the same, and then you would change it on the last 2 bars. So you can do a variation of maybe the first note or the second note, or you can just change it completely. So what I'm going to do is, because I know the key of F minor really well, I'm going to put it in F minor, and then once we make a melody, I'm going to transpose it back up 2 semitones to G minor. So another tip, I learned that from Kashmir. Learn one scale completely so you know inside and out. Make all your melodies in that one key and then you can transpose it into different keys. A very useful tip, and that'll sound like this. But like I said as well, we're going to be making it in F minor just for now, and then I'll transpose it up 2 semitones. If it takes too long, I'll do a time lapse as well. Don't want to bore everyone with me just constantly clicking spacebar and playing the first 3 notes. That's what I have in my head. Wonderful singer, by the way. There we go. Wrong notes. Really nice. and then I want it to go from here, and then I want it to go do 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 do, so it does like a quick succession of notes. I'm assuming it would be that, and then we'll do that. Remember, in my last video, shortcuts, Control B, copy it over. Remember that, it's very helpful. Hold Alt to turn off snap to grid, and you can turn these to any length you want, just so it's not all glued together and sounds very unauthentic. And again, we don't want to repeat this. As much as the bass is repeating, you don't want to repeat the top melody, otherwise it will get too repetitive. The listener will lose interest. You want to keep it different. So this one we want to change a few notes. So this can go up to the D sharp. As we're in F, one of the notes in F is C, so we'll use C, see what it sounds like. Again, this is symmetrical, but we want to change this one here. So we want it to go, in my head I'm hearing da, 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 da. So instead of it going, it'll be, so what we've got to do is change this F note to a G sharp and do that. And then this isn't the whole melody, because we have a whole other variation for these next 4 bars. So we want these 2 starter notes to lead into a different note. So and again, this and this are identical, they're very symmetrical. It's perfect to do that. The listener is refreshed. So we need to, again, we don't want this to be the same as this. We want to change this just slightly. So again, we have a different bass note here. So we want to complement that with the right harmonics. So it also keeps interest in the listener. So this is what I have come up with. I pretty much recorded the whole making of the melody. I just done a quick pause and edit to do this last part here. I've changed the bass note. So before, this wasn't A sharp, it was currently F. And then this C sharp went down to A sharp. So we've changed it. So now the F is now an A sharp. And then we've done this. So if I was to quickly play the bass instead. And that leads nicely back into the F, which is a nice repeat. So if we now play the melody and you can hear the second half, the whole melody sounds like this. I might change it once we add the super saws. It may spark some sort of melodic difference in this part here, because I'm not really satisfied with these 4 notes. Because if I change this to a C sharp and then play it, it sounds quite odd. So I'm changing it to the C, because obviously we're currently in F minor, but we're pitching it up, and C and C sharp are both in the F minor scale. But regardless, it sounds really nice so far. So this is the main melody. I'm actually very impressed with this one. I really like it. So for time purposes and to save time and keep the video moving, I'm going to stick with this one, and then it's going to pitch up 2 semitones to G, and now we're in the same key as our drop. Yeah, so that's sounding really good. So I'm going to be keeping this muted guitar as some sort of pluck layer. And then we're going to be adding some plucks on Silent and Spire. Maybe next if they have any nice plucks in, like EDM5 for example. I'm not sure what they have in here. That sounds very nice. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, so the only thing we really need to do now is change these bass notes to the same rhythm of this melody. We don't want them sustained. The only thing we really want sustained note-wise is probably the sub bass, but we'll see then. So yeah, so I'm going to have to quickly get back the guitar because I didn't create a clone. So let's create a clone of this and then get this muted guitar back. And then copy and paste this MIDI over here. It's a very nice pluck actually. So yeah, I'm just going to make a quick time lapse of me changing these notes into the same rhythm as this, because that would just be time consuming, and I'll speak to you in a second. So now we have changed the bass notes to the same rhythm. It sounds like this. Sounding very nice. I noticed in W&W's tracks they keep the pluck section very short. Usually it's a minimum of 8 bars, no longer, because they want to get straight into the festival supersaws and then they want to keep their track moving. They don't over exaggerate and make the song too long with like a 16 bar pluck section and then a 16 bar build up and supersaws and just over drag the song. So we're going to be keeping it relatively short, maximum of 8 bars, so it will literally be this long, and then we'll go into the supersaw section. But for now we're just going to build onto the plucks, keep making these sound nice, because we want to add a pluck that has a cutoff, because this is from Nexus and the only cutoff they have is just a low pass or a high pass. Regardless, we want to open silent for Spire to, as we just had an error with Nexus there. We want to open silent for Spire so we can have a pluck with a cutoff, so we can slowly open the cutoff and it will make the supersaw feeling come in, and then we can transition nicely into the supersaw section. Something like that. So as you can see, we can just use the cutoff filter and it'll sound very muffled, and then it'll slowly open throughout the 8 bars, and then it will make a nice transition into these supersaws. So with these 3 sounds, I think we can add these 3 to the mixer. I want to create a bus for these pluck layers, if we can put them around here. I want to make a bus layer so we can add some delay, some ping pong delay to make the pluck sound a bit more spacious. So we call this pluck group. Route all these to the bus and turn them down because it's going to be very loud. Let's just mute these 2 for now. See that annoying frequency there? Just doing a little dip there. Went to part to B and turned the cutoff down on this one, so it's completely silent until the cutoff actually starts to open up, which is what we want. As you can hear, the delay is sounding really nice on that. Also going to add a big reverb, vintage Valhalla, do a low cut of around 400 Hz, a decay of around 2.5 seconds, and a mix of around 25%. And any plugin that has reverb, we want to turn it off, otherwise the reverb will be bleeding in. volume adjusting there, and then we're going to do a low cut on this one. Not too much, just a little bit. That sounded really nice, so I think we should start getting some structuring going. Break melody, if we call this break pluck, and then when we split the pattern, do this. So then we have 3 patterns here, like that, super saw, break pluck, and we want them in that order. So if we listen to the transition from the drop to the break, we want it to really come in here. We'll make a reverse bounce of this first note, and it'll be like slowly fade in with a reverb reverse. It's a trick everyone's known since like 2012, 2013. It became very popular. We want to make a selection here, make a cutoff envelope for this cutoff frequency here, and then we'll, instead of being all messy, you know, my OCD like, we're going to make all the break elements down here below the effects, and then we're going to bring that down so that can go there. We want the first 4 bars pretty silent. We don't really want anything coming in, maybe the slightest amount. Yeah, so around there. It's at 41%. And then it can slowly come in. As I really like this sound, I'm going to be keeping this for one of the supersaw layers. So when the actual supersaws come in, I will be keeping this layer because that does sound very clean. It's funny enough the same sound as this preset here for the drop. It's the same sound, but yeah, it's why not use it? Because it sounds very nice. What I'm going to do is make a unique here because I want to duplicate the bass notes and make them an octave lower just to give a bit more body to the synth. Very nice. So now let's mute these 2 for now and then get the other 2 plucks going. Just boosting the high end there. And then for this pluck here, I'm going to be adding some stereo imaging. And then I'm going to make an automation clip for the low on this one. So we're going to do this because I want to fade. I'll do a low cut on this one. So the creates tension. So let's make a automation clip on that. And then for the last like 2 bars, it will slowly go up. Like that. And then let's add this one. And then we're going to bring that automation clip back down because I do want this pluck to be in the supersaws as well because it does sound very nice mixed in with it. Depending on how many supersaws we add will dictate if we actually keep it in there, because if you can't really hear the difference the sound is making, there's no reason for it to be there. It's just adding some extra mud and some, yeah, it's just making problems we don't need. So. Another thing I want to do is start adding some ambience inside the break because it's very, very dull at the moment. 2 things I really like to add is one of them is a rain or a thunder thing. I usually use the rain from Kashmir Volume 2. So go to the Kashmir packs here. So yeah, inside Volume 2 under Effects and Natural Ambience or Ambience Natural, there is a rain one here. So this fills it up nicely. So yeah, this is the tip 1 I do. And then another one is some sort of vocal bed. Again, you can use it from Kashmir. The one I use, there we go, it's this one here. I believe it is in the key of G, so we can actually keep it and no need to pitch it. Or if we do, it will only be a couple semitones, nothing too crazy. But yeah, these are the two tips I use to fill up some ambience, and the break is some rain and some sort of vocal ambience or vocal air as it's called here. So this one is from the Kashmir and Dallas K song Burn, incredible song. So if we just double check what key this is in. Yeah, so we are in G, so that's good. One thing we will need to add to this is reverb to make it a bit more in the back. So we'll mute that there for now. And turn down this rain. You can hear it airs it out very nicely, so we're going to be adding this here as well. Give it the same yellow colour. Like I said, I'm going to be adding some sort of reverb on this so we can give it more spacious atmosphere. The dry knob is your best friend in ambient sound, so as soon as you turn the dry knob down, I'm going to add a auto pan, or if it's called a pan-o-matic, fruity pan-o-matic, change it to the pan and then turn up the speed. And then another thing I want to add is to give it a bit more zazz is an OTT. And we're going to copy over this impact here. Gives it a nice epic feel. We could probably use this sweep as well. You're sounding very nice. One more thing I want to do before we end the video, because the main video for this was just getting the melody down. We're actually getting a lot further than I expected, so I'm quite proud of it. Is just add some more ambience and sweeps to make this bigger. And then the next part, part 6, we'll work on the big super saw climax and make it sound very festival and epic. So the thing I wanted to add is this bar here, or this effect, 16 bar effect here. And I don't know why it says 16 bars, because it's 8 bars or something, so I missed name or something, but this is going to be very quiet in the background, but this is going to add to the tension in the transition from the plucks to the super saws. This super saw alone is actually really huge and big, so it sounds very nice. So we're going to be layering this up next episode with some more Nexus and some Spire and maybe some Silent. Get a nice sub bass and a Reese bass going on there to fill up that low end, make it nice and huge. But other than that, I'm very proud of where we're at so far. So I'm just going to do a quick playthrough of what we've got so far, and then we'll be ending the video. So yeah, enjoy. So yeah, that's what we have so far. A few things after that playthrough. We need to make a big bounce to this first drop here, or this first note here, so we can do that big reverb tail with the automation of pan, so we go left to right really fast. Then it'll make a nice transition for these 2 bars. And then another thing, which we'll do next episode, is we'll make a bounce of this 1 note here, and then again add a bunch of reverb on it, bounce it, reverse it, and it will create a nice transition from like a sweep effect into these plucks. So that's what we do next episode. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. Next episode will be coming on Friday or Saturday, along those days. I hope you're doing good, stay safe, produce music, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.